We're in Coire Lair and we're standing on Torridon Sandstone. So this brown sandstone, 1 billion years old. Above it, behind me, you can see grey quartzite. So this is about 550 million years old, Cambrian in age. So there's an unconformity there. But then as we look along the valley, you can see you switch back into Torridon Sandstone, that brown stuff. And then there's grey screes before the ridgeline steepens up. That's more of the quartzite. Then we're into sandstone, a little bit of quartzite, sandstone, quartzite, sandstone making the end of the ridge. And then as we look down into the valley, you can see this ridge of quartzite again and then sandstone beyond it. So we have this really strange sequence. It's clearly not a sedimentary sequence because the sedimentary sequence is old stuff. Torridon sandstone with quartzite sitting on top of it. But then we have that repeated again, sandstone quartzite, and so on. So that must mean that these things have been faulted over each other. So we have our sequence, and then the sandstone has been thrust on top of the quartzite. And then there's been another thrust that's thrust more sandstone on top of the quartzite repeatedly down the valley. And this is typical for very, very large continental collision systems. The Moine Thrust is not a single fault. It's actually a series of faults which are running in parallel to each other, each of which accommodates a small amount of, or a large amount of deformation, but each one accommodates some of the deformation. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 or so thrusts that you can see here. In fact, in the top of the quartzite behind me, you can see one of these thrust faults. So we have a beautiful anticlinal fold here of quartzite. And it's quite steep on this right-hand limb. As you go through, there's a region where it suddenly becomes less steep. So we have quartzite like that, and then less steep on top. And that surface there, that's actually the thrust fault. Typically when you get thrusts, if something's being pushed over, then they tend to bend over. So if you've got a thrust which is coming like this, you'll end up with beds like this sitting on top of it. And you can see that up there. If you follow that bedding plane down here you can see again the quartzite's been bent over, this nose is folded over, and again really very, very disrupted where the quartzite and the Torridon sandstone join together. So this is really typical for thrust faulting. And it's a really nice example of the way that the Moine Thrust separates into all these stacked sequences.